Great, let's get started. Tonight we're just going to go through a quick presentation about each of the groups. We have professors and students here that are going to talk on their groups, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms where um, you'll be able to choose which breakout room you want to go to. They're assigned for what groups will be in there, and then you can talk to the students and professors that are in there, ask them any of the questions you have about WPI Music and their groups. So to introduce myself, my name's Emily Jordan. I am the president of jazz groups on campus and have been kind of putting this together. Along with me, we have Professor Olsen, Professor Struck, Professor Rody, all of those WPI music faculty representing jazz, brass ensemble, concert band, choir. We got everyone here. And we also have some other students, officers for both concert band, a cappella, choir, orchestra. We got a little bit of everybody here, which is going to be great. So if you have any questions about any of those, there'll be plenty of time to ask those. So to start off, just a quick overview of what ensembles look like here at WPI. We have both choral and instrumental. For choral, there's Alden Voices as well as a cappella. Alden Voices is more of a traditional choir and has some other separations within it that we can go into more depth. Professor Rody can go into more depth with that as we get a little further into the presentation. But then we also have a cappella. We have both men's, women's, and mixed groups here on campus. And then for instrumental, we have many different operating associations where we have jazz groups, we have symphonic association with concert band, orchestra, and brass ensemble, and also we have a string quartet, we have the African drumming ensemble, percussion ensemble, and then of course we have pep band. So there's lots of opportunities to almost anything as far as music goes here at WPI. First off, we're going to talk about choir. I'm going to throw this over to if Professor Rody or one of the choir students is here and wants to talk about more specifics for a couple minutes.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm standing in for Professor Rody today. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but my name is John Gableman. I am currently the president of the Glee Club. Unfortunately, Abby Blauser, the president of Alden Voices, couldn't be here either today, but the two clubs work very closely together. So if you have any questions about either, I'd be happy to answer them. So I think we have a little bit about a cappella afterwards. So I'm just going to focus on Alden Voices and Glee Club, which is the more traditional kind of choir experience at WPI. It's like, getting up on stage, getting on the risers and singing with a large group of people. We do some a cappella music, choir style a cappella music, some with accompaniment, some with orchestras. We have a nice range of music. So yeah, if you're interested in singing, if you're interested in choir, we have our first rehearsals on August 24th and 25th from 5 to 6:30. The one on Thursday, August 25th, we're going to have some free pizza. They're going to be located at First Baptist Church in Gordon Hall, which is right next to Rooftop Fields. And if you need extra help finding them, we're also going to have some trains going from the Wedge in Morgan Hall to the church, where officers or people who have been doing this for a few years will be able to walk with you and make sure you get to the church all well and good. Yeah, hopefully excited to see some new faces in singing. So if you have any more questions about it, feel free to come talk to me in the breakout room afterwards. Hope to meet you all.
And if a cappella person wants to talk about a cappella here on campus.
Yeah, I can talk about this one. So we have 5 different a cappella groups on campus. As Emily mentioned earlier, we have a mix of all guy groups, all girl groups, and a co-ed group. So I personally direct Simple Harmonic Motion, one of the all guy groups, and I think we have a couple other people from a cappella on here. But we're going to have a show at the beginning of the year where you can see all 5 groups, and that's going to be on August 28th at 7 p.m. And then we're going to have auditions the next week, 4th and 5th. It's a lot of fun. I love a cappella. All the different groups do really incredible music, and I'd certainly love to answer any questions that anyone has about it.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to move on to some instrumental groups. First up, we're going to talk about jazz groups. Professor Olsen, you want to talk about them?
Sure. First off, thank you everybody for being here. This is our first virtual meeting before the year, and it's really exciting to be doing this. Thank you to our jazz president, Emily. for getting this going, and the other jazz groups people and all the officers and professors that are here. So this is a great night for you to hear about the ensembles, but students who are here to learn stuff, please take the opportunity to talk to these students that are here and ask them about their experiences, ask them about how many music groups they're part of, because I speak to a lot of students about what I like to do music. I'm not sure if I can fit it in. I think it's really important to hear from the students tonight in the breakout rooms how they fit music into their life, because they certainly do, and they do it really well. All right, so our jazz program is made up of two large big bands. Well, the first is stage band. That's our top band. And then we have Jazz Ensemble, which is the second band, both very good big bands. We meet once a week from 5 to 6:30 on different nights. Stage band is on Monday, and Jazz Ensembles on Wednesday. We have a large combo, which is an advanced improvisatory group that meets on Wednesdays, 7 to 8:30. And this year we're starting a jam session on Monday nights for people who either didn't get into the groups by audition, couldn't schedule the groups, or for anyone in any of the groups who want to come and hang and play some jazz. That's going to be on Monday nights. Now, if you, at the end of the slideshow, there's a QR code. I'm sure you got the letter hopefully this week. That's why you're here. Please sign up for an audition time. I'd love to hear you, love to get to meet you. We do have our first rehearsals are going to be not this week, but the week after, once we seat the ensembles. So the first rehearsals will be, what do we have here? The 29th for the stage band, the 12th for the jam session, and then the 31st of August for the jazz ensemble and combo. We also have a pizza hang for everyone to get together and meet each other. So look forward to talking to you in the breakout room if you have any more questions. Thanks. I also direct the brass ensemble, which is an extension of our concert band program. It's an advanced group. We do a lot of fun and exciting music. A lot of it's one on a part. If you're interested, if you've ever played in a quintet or are interested in that, this is a 15-piece brass ensemble. Please consider auditioning. It's the same audition sheet, or ask me questions about it. All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Professor Olson. We're going to move on to concert band. If Darren wants to talk about this, or Professor Lutch, whichever one.
Professor Lutch, I think you're muted. But yeah, you can take the floor.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll mention a few things, and then if anybody else wants to add anything. We rehearse Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 to 7. A lot of those Thursdays will be broken down into sectionals. So there'll be a significant amount of Thursdays, or I should say weeks, where it won't be full 4 hours for everybody. Okay. We did that especially towards, well, I think we did that a good amount last year, and we actually ended up, I think, getting a better, like less is more. You know, we kind of got a better full effect by breaking some of those Thursdays down into hour-long sectionals. But anyway, but on the books, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 to 7. As we get closer to concerts, we will go full on those 2 days. And similar to what Professor Olson mentioned, for new students, I'd like to just hear you play a little bit. Nothing, well, no pun intended here, nothing major, other than 2 scales of your choice. 2 octaves where possible, chromatic scale, comfortable range for you, and then a little sight reading. August, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Our first ensemble meeting is Thursday, August 25th, 5 p.m. in all the hall. Say again? What was that? Did I miss something? All right, well, in that letter that I think you all got, first year students, there's a link in that email, which will bring you to the 3 days and all the time slots, which you can choose. They're 15 minutes time slots, probably won't even go 15 minutes, but builds in a little flex time. And then we will meet on that Thursday, August 25th, which will include some, we'll go over the syllabus. We'll read music for the first concert. Then that'll be in the first hour. In the second hour, and if any of the students want to talk about it here, Steve or anybody else, I don't know all who's here, there'll be kind of socializing and pizzarizing. Steve or anybody else want to mention anything about that?
Yeah, I can talk about that for a little bit. Yeah, so I'm Steve Rosario. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm part of the percussion section in concert band. Yeah, so I think on our first rehearsal we'll be doing a lot of fun stuff. We'll be doing some music, because this is concert band, obviously. We'll also be doing some other fun stuff just to get to know each other a little bit better and make sure like different sections are talking to each other, because I know sometimes sections can be isolated within themselves. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing on our first rehearsal, and hopefully it'll be really fun.
And yes, also a shout out to Emily for organizing all of this information that's gone out tonight for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. I think orchestra. Yeah, orchestra's next. If Professor Scinto wants to talk.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Emily, again for organizing this. Nice to see you all. I'm looking forward to kicking off the term in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I'd love to meet all of you who are interested in orchestra on our first meeting day, which is August 24th, first day of class, Wednesday 5 to 7 in Eldon Hall, and we'll play some Dvorak. We'll have some pizza. We'll just socialize and give you an overview of what the year is going to look like and what fun projects and things we'll be working on. I'm also having, I don't really want to call it an audition, but just kind of a meeting to just hear you play with me the first week of class, Wednesday, August 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. So I have a Google spreadsheet, which the students have been filling out, and I can get all of you that information. If you're not already subscribed to our orchestra mailing list, we'll get you on there and make sure you're all set. I'm just asking people to just play 3 or 4 minutes of just solo piece, etude, orchestra excerpt, whatever it is. It's not a high pressure thing. I just want to really meet everyone individually, just being that I'm new here this year, and just to just to really get a good idea of what we can all look forward to for the year. So yeah, feel free to shoot me a message on Zoom here tonight, or send me an email. My email is mcinto@wpi.edu, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. We have great student leaders here, which you will all get to know, and they are very resourceful and more than that, very passionate about the music program here, which is wonderful to see. So it's a really important aspect of the academic experience here at the university, which is fantastic. It's one of the great things about WPI that I'm discovering. So I'm looking forward to meeting you all soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Professor. Professor Olson already touched on brass ensemble a little bit, so we can just head over to percussion ensemble if Professor Stewart wants to talk.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to thank Emily for putting this together and inviting us on. We never had this far ahead of time. This is great to have this little head start. I'm Peter Strike. I direct the percussion ensemble here at WPI, and it's more of a sort of traditional sort of Western music percussion ensemble. And we do a pretty wide range of styles and material, from sort of classic 20th century, old school percussion ensemble literature to more contemporary works. We do arrangements of opera arias, TV show themes, African and Latin. We do everything. Everything depends on the number of players we have every year, and it also depends on the number of mallet players that we have. But that said, If you are not particularly proficient at mallets, that you're still welcome to come join. What I ask, you can see here, I don't really audition people. What I do ask is that you've had 3 years of some comparable playing experience, whether it's in concert band, orchestra, jazz band, even a marching band, or even if you took lessons for 3 years. I've had a lot of people who took drum set lessons, who have joined the percussion ensemble and found it really enjoyable and learned a lot about playing new instruments. So the way I sort of audition people, our first meeting, just so you know too, will be on Thursday, August 25th at 7 p.m. And the first meeting of the year, we always have sort of read-through night. And we read through one, sometimes 2 pieces, and everyone sort of takes turns playing the different parts. And so for the returning members, it's kind of fun for them to do sight reading, but it really tells me a lot about the new members. There's no pressure. It's more just about finding out how you play, what your strengths are, what you want to be doing in the ensemble. And like with these other groups too, you know, we'll be socializing and meeting each other a little bit too. So the first night is, you know, we do some playing, get to know you a little bit and talk to you about your goals, and hopefully it's the right thing for you. Also too, Professor Olson brought up earlier as well, one thing too, if you happen to know any current students or people who have been in the percussion ensemble last year, you should talk to them about their experience, and they can give you some firsthand information about what it's like. You know, we do, you know, at least 4 performances every year, mixed in with the other groups like the orchestra, the concert band, choral group. So we get a lot of chances to do that. I will also be there on Tuesday the 23rd. There's an in-person open house. I'll be there to answer questions in person and talk to you more in detail. And we can talk in the breakout rooms tonight as well. I think that's at 10 o'clock on the 23rd. And you can also email me at my school address, pstruyk@wpi.edu. And thanks. I hope we'll see some of you there. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor. I'll throw it over to Steve to talk about African Percussion Ensemble.
All right, yeah. So as being a member of the percussion section in concert band, I also am the president of the African Drumming Ensemble, or the African Percussion Ensemble. So we typically meet either on Tuesdays or Thursdays from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And I say or because usually what I do is at the beginning of every semester, I send out a Google form to all of our members, and we kind of like pick when to meet, and usually that falls on either a Tuesday or a Thursday. But regardless, our first meeting is going to be on Thursday, which is August 25th at 7 p.m. Again, 7 to 8:30. And what African Drumming Ensemble primarily does is we focus on learning the skills and the techniques from the Ewe tribe in Ghana. And in addition to drumming, we also sometimes do some singing and dancing as well, which is always really fun. And an interesting thing about African Drumming Ensemble is, although this is a student-run club, you can also take ADE for credit as well. So please be sure to keep that in mind when you're thinking of joining this ensemble. And also, so just in general, like what kind of events we perform at. So in A term, we usually perform at the pep rally and during family weekend. And usually throughout the year, we perform at various other events, either at other concerts hosted by any of these other ensembles that are here, or at other events that are run by different clubs and organizations around campus. And the important thing to note here is that we don't need any musical experience to join, okay? So if you've never played any sorts of percussion music before, if you're completely new to percussion completely, that is totally fine. We'll take anyone and you will do completely fine. So yeah, that's a little bit about African Drumming Ensemble. I'm more than happy to answer you guys' questions in the breakout rooms. And if you do have any other questions after this meeting, you can email me at this email. I'll put in the chat, just WPI email. So yeah, that is the African Drumming Ensemble, and hope to see you guys there.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve, so much. And then last up during our slides today is just going to be pep band.
Hi everyone, my name's Allie. I'm one of the assistant drum majors for the pep band. So we are currently well into our marching season, but we are always looking for more people to play in the stands with us. We take people of all skill levels, whether you've never touched an instrument before, or you've been playing since 2nd grade. We have people all over the place. If you're a stands member, we rehearse Mondays 8 to 10, so pretty low key, just 1 rehearsal a week. And then you'll come to all of our home football games. And if you do stands during basketball season, you can sign up and take pep band for gym credit. So you can kind of get your PE credits out of the way with pep band, which is definitely something that I've gotten a use for during pep band. So yeah, you can email the email below for any more information, and I'd be happy to talk to anyone during the breakout rooms.
So, thanks, Allie. Okay, so we're gonna go into breakout rooms right now. They should open in a second, and you should be able to just find your. Oh yeah, Professor Olson. Yeah.
Could I just say one thing very briefly? Once again, thank you for putting this together. Before we go to breakout rooms, I do want to once again encourage everybody to go to the Tuesday, August 23rd, 10 o'clock Alden Hall music get together. They're going to give a in-depth description of the program, what you need to do for your humanities requirements, and then we're going to break out and talk to different people, or you can break out and go downstairs and talk to different students and teachers, professors from each group. I think it's important that you know that getting 1 year of ensemble classes counts as a credit, or 1/6 of your requirement for your humanities. So, but you do need to take an ensemble for a year. After that, you won't get credit, but you can certainly take ensembles, and most students do take ensembles all 4 years, and 5 if they're a grad student, 5.5 sometimes. The second, third, fourth, and whatever after that, you'll still sign up for the class, but it'll be a pass-fail with no credit. It'll still be on your transcript. So, but to get credit, you need to take a combination of ensembles or one ensemble for a full year, and the full year is what we certainly suggest from everybody. So that's all I have to say about that, and there'll be much more information on Tuesday the 23rd.
Thank you, Professor. That's all great. Yeah, everybody should make sure to come to that open house in person when everybody's on campus. It's great. So breakout rooms are open if you want. Students and professors should already be assigned to their respective room, and then any participants for prospective students, you can join anyone that you're interested in. Feel free to go to multiple ones, ask the students and professors any of the questions you have.
Are we coming back as a full group afterwards or not?
It's a good question. I hadn't really thought about that, but if we get to a point where there's no more student questions, we can definitely come back. I will have the QR code for the big information doc and all the signups up during this time. So students are free to leave as they choose.
Okay.
I've also done like basically every other ensemble. So yeah, I'm in pep band. I did concert band. I was in orchestra for a little bit. I'm in an a cappella group. I think I hit all of them, but yeah. So I could also field questions about almost any of the other groups as well.
So can the officers, first off, welcome everybody who's here. Brian, Charles, Sean, Wyatt, and Gibson, and Luca. Is that Luca Chantre? Yes? All right. Can the officers introduce themselves? Hi, Luca.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Emily. I'm here with all the jazz officers that are in pep band because we are currently in the middle of band camp and we're chilling here. So I'm president, and then I've got Robbie.
I'm the treasurer.
We got Nate. Yeah.
Yeah, my name's Nate. I'm the PR chair. And my name's Will. I'm the member at large.
And then we got Tommy on the line too. Tommy, are you on IQP yet, or?
Not yet. So I actually don't leave for another couple more days, but then I leave. So.
Yes, Tommy will be gone for the first term and then coming back for the second term. So, well, welcome everybody. Does anyone have any questions in particular? Because we could probably just ramble on.
Yeah, Charles.
Yeah. Does the audition piece have to be specifically jazz, or can I just do any genre of music?
You could do any genre. It would be great to hear you do something in a swing style as well. You could probably do a couple different things. If you wanted to do Latin, if you wanted to do funk, something with 16th notes, that's fine. But hearing you play some swing would be nice. There'll also be some swing in the sight reading, and if you play over the blues as well. I usually suggest players grab something from maybe like a district or an all-state tryout piece would be great, or a transcribed solo that you could find pretty easily on the internet. That those work pretty well.
I would also add on to not be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, if
go
we're
ahead.
doing a transcription, I transcribed it myself, but I haven't written it out. Is that okay? Do you want sheet music?
I'll hear it as is.
Okay.
Well, obviously we're going to see if you can read when we get to the sight reading. So but that's fine. But write it out, because writing it out is really good for you. I know it's we want to learn it by ear, but you learn a lot when you write out the solos rhythmically. So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
So just to give you a basic description of what we do throughout the year, we have 3 performing ensembles, the jazz combo. All of them meet for the same amount of time, once per week. We have several students that do both if they get if they get in through audition. The combo tends to play out a lot. We do a lot of gigs at school and outside the school as well, focused highly on improvisation, and frankly, a lot of student compositions as well. Recently, we've got a lot of great composers who have learned or really honed their skills while at WPI. I'm not sure how much composing they did necessarily beforehand, but they've really done some amazing stuff. So our stage band is our top jazz ensemble, or our top big band, I'll say, and we'll perform, I'd say, 2 to 4 times a semester. In general, you're going to find that our groups don't rehearse as much as groups you've been in the past. We rehearse once a week, and we make really good use of our time. For example, for Parents' Weekend, which is on the 18th, stage band and jazz combo have 3 to 4 rehearsals before the first concert. So it's pretty intense, but I think we like it that way. We get through a lot of different music throughout the year, a lot of different types of music. This year we're going to be studying, like we study classic swing. We study, the music of Duke Ellington, Charles Mingus, the greats. We do more modern music. We do some bebop. We do Latin. We do funk. We do all those sort of things. We're going to focus a bit on the music of New Orleans because we're putting together a jazz department trip to New Orleans later in the spring semester, which is open to any member of our jazz groups. So you'll hear more about that in the future. So let's see. Other than that, let's see.
Oh, I also wanted to quickly mention that the majority of our performances also get recorded and put up on our YouTube channel. I just linked it in the chat. So if any of you were also curious about what some of our groups sound like or what we're up to, I would definitely check out the YouTube channel. And specifically, I would look through some stuff. Recently, we performed at Mechanics Hall, which was pretty cool. So we did a lot of really good songs at Mechanics Hall.
Yeah, so after COVID, obviously, we're looking forward to getting out and playing as much as we can. So we're trying to add even more performances to our schedule. That's our goal. We'll perform as many times as is possible throughout the year. I think you'll find for new students that all of our players and especially our officers are very easy to talk to. We'll happily answer any questions. And we have a great culture and camaraderie in the jazz department. And I'm really honored and happy that we do have something like that. The music is what we're all about, playing great music and having fun doing it. So if you haven't signed up for an audition time, make sure you sign up for one. If you haven't talked to these individual students about how many ensembles they do, I think we should ask them right now. Just to see, because I do get people saying, well, I think I want to wait till next year to play, and see what it's like. And generally, if this is something officers, you should tell people that if they put their instrument down the first year, they're not going to pick it up again. That's just been my experience in the past, and that's a shame. So, because there's always in the jazz department, there's always going to be room for people who want to play. So Emily, what groups are you in?
So I'm obviously in jazz groups. I play in Stage Band 1, our top group. I'm also in pep band, and my freshman year I was also in concert band. So I was able to do all three of those, and I'm also in a couple other clubs. So I have a heavy load with all my clubs and stuff, but if you just want, you can definitely join all those groups if you want. You can do jazz groups, you can do pep band, you can do concert band. It's definitely doable and still have time for classes and stuff. Yeah, what about you, Robbie? What are you in?
Well, at a time I was in, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 groups at once. The jazz stage band, concert band, brass ensemble. I think the brass band was a thing at that point too. And I also did Vox Musical Theater, which is sort of an ad hoc opportunity. Not every show has a large pit, but it's totally something to look into if you're interested in performing. I actually learned how to play vibraphone to play in the musical last year, and it was super fun. So if you're interested in performing at musicals, definitely check out Vox Musical Theater.
Yeah. Well, what are you in? You're a little bit younger. You're still young and spry.
Yeah, so I am in pep band. I'm also obviously in the jazz groups. And then I'm in some other groups outside of school, outside of WPI specifically, but yeah. And also I'm in a bunch of different clubs. So there's plenty of time to go around as well with classes. Thanks.
Nate, you're still in concert band, right? Yeah.
I am, yeah. So I'm in stage band. I do brass band with Tommy and Robbie. I've done concert band. I did sax ensemble, and I directed the pit for the cabaret for Vox D term last year. And I'm going to be directing again for Urinetown this A term. So Vox, sort of what Robbie said. I had some conducting experience in the past, but a lot of the time the students that are doing that don't have a lot of conducting experience, so it's a great way to sort of get into conducting if you want. They have a cabaret every D term, and then they'll do another show, not as big as a production as A term, but during C term. So if you're looking to do some conducting or play in a pit orchestra, definitely keep an eye out on their Instagram or their social feeds for that. But yeah, as everyone said before me, it's so doable to do more than one group. Especially when you're first starting, try to get involved as much as possible. See what you like, what you don't like, what you can manage, but definitely start with as much as you can. And it's such a great way to meet friends and get help, not only growing as a musician, but also, I mean, these are some of my best friends, even outside of music. So it's such a great thing to get involved with on a lot of different fronts.
Tommy, you want to give us a long list
Yeah,
of things you're involved in?
Yeah, I'll do the quick recap again. So throughout my freshman and sophomore year, I joined concert band, pep band, orchestra, brass ensemble, stage band, the jazz combo. I did a little bit of pit orchestra. I lead the brass band, and I'm in the audio files, which is the co-ed a cappella group. So that is nine groups. Oh, and I'm going to be helping to TA the jazz jam thing when I come back from my QP. So that'll make it 10.
That's more than I even knew about. Oh my god.
So it's doable.
Yeah, most
It's
people don't
doable.
do that many.
I did
Don't
10.
get
You can do it.
overwhelmed by it.
So we'll send out the link for auditions. Again, I know some people might have missed that QR code. It might have gone a little too fast at the end, which is okay. Maybe we can post it again. And I'll send everyone the link for auditions. But everyone should have gotten an email as a freshman from WPI regarding music. Did some people not get that? It should have had information on all the ensembles. And if you didn't, that's fine. I'll try. What I'll do is maybe we can forward it, Emily, to that letter. We can forward it to everybody who was here tonight or to everyone on the list.
Yeah.
So they just get the general information along with all the directors' emails.
Definitely, that sounds good. I'll make sure to do that.
Just one more thing regarding our groups. We've really tried to design the schedule. Number one, to stay away from normal classes. So you'll see that, ensemble rehearsals start after 5. So you should not, in general, unless you're taking a grad course of some sort, or maybe an IQP prep, you're never going to come into a conflict with that and an ensemble. And as far as ensembles conflicting with each other, there's really only one conflict, which is jazz and orchestra. And those are really the only two groups that meet at the same time. And generally, we've never had an issue with that. So just one more little tidbit of information. Yeah, Larissa, I'll send you that link before right when we end here. I'll do that right now. Do we have any questions from our
I was just wondering how improvisation heavy is like the traditional big band groups? Like how much improvisation is there within those groups?
So I think, Professor Olson, want to take that?
No, I'd love for a student to answer that, actually.
Yeah, so I think there's probably two sides of this where you could compare. There's students that are in big band that do improv all the time, and then there's ones that are a little bit less uncomfortable with it. And if you're uncomfortable with it, Professor Olson never makes anybody improv in front of the whole band. So don't be scared about that if you're not great in improv. But if you're looking to get better, that's one of the reasons we have jam session starting this year is so that students that are interested in improv and maybe are already in a group, that's a great way you can get more comfortable with improv. Tommy's somebody that improvs a lot. If you want to talk about that, Tommy.
Well, let me chime in. Whereas I won't make people solo necessarily, we do work on that as part of our rehearsals because everybody needs to know about improv because that's what jazz is. Generally, a lot of it is based on, and that helps your knowledge of what you're playing by knowing what the chords of the piece are and all that sort of stuff. So in general, unless you're a graduating senior, I might not make you solo in a concert. So.
My apologies. My Zoom is being a little bit laggy, so I'm not quite getting everything. But yeah, the only group that you need to be like really solid with improv in is the jazz combo. Yeah, you can do the big band, and you're not going to be forced to solo, but it's definitely a good idea to get better at it. like we're always going to encourage you to do it, but not force you to do it. And you'll have plenty of opportunities to eventually do it if you eventually like come around to it and change your mind.
Any other questions or anything?
Oh, excuse me. I joined kind of late on the Zoom, and I missed like the whole kind of slideshow for Jazz with us. Could you just unless kind of well, go through like other times and the our requirements for the audition, please?
Yeah, so we have 4 sessions for jazz. We have the stage band 1 that rehearses Monday nights, 5 to 6:30, and we have jazz ensemble that's Wednesdays 5 to 6:30. There's also jazz combo, which is 7 to 8 on Wednesday. All of those you have to audition with Professor Olson, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's scales, sight reading, and a piece for you to prepare in advance.
Yeah, a piece of your preference.
And can you talk about the other jam sessions, please?
Sure. So starting in the last couple of years, we have been very fortunate to have a lot more students or a large number of students interested in jazz. And in general, I will pack the bands with as many players as possible. But sometimes there's just too many players for too little seats. So as much as I hate to do this, I have had to turn away people in the past. So we were thinking, it'd be nice to have a place for people with very little jazz skills or improv skills to work on their jazz playing, to get to the point where in the future they can audition and be prepared enough to get a seat in one of the bands. That said, that jam session will work with people who haven't played at all. It'll also work with players who want to just get more experience on improv and jamming. So it'll serve a couple different purposes. We'll see where the direction of the class goes, depending upon who shows up. It's not going to be a signed up for credit class. It's going to be a whoever shows up, and we'll go from there. So it's going to be open to any student.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the main goal of the jazz jams is I mean, all of the groups are a ton of fun, but yeah, I think the jazz jam is just a great like low stress environment. Like you don't have to worry about like messing up or making mistakes or whatever. It's just to learn how to get better and just have some fun and decompress for the evening.
Okay. Thank you guys for all the information.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming. Does anybody else have any questions about jazz groups?
Hi, this is really specific, but is a ballad an okay song for a prepared piece for audition, or do you want something more up tempo?
Well, if it has some, I would like to see some facility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like you in a classical audition, you would play sort of, there would be a technical part to the piece and there would be a slow part to the piece. If this ballad had, you know what I mean, like a double time part to it or something like that, fine, Larissa.
Yeah, it's Skylark by the Hoagie Carmichael version, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good.
Thank you.
Certainly. All right. Well,
Gibson,
I
do you have a
sent out
question?
link.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, I do have a question. You have a stage band, a jazz ensemble, and a jazz combo, right? can you speak a little more about the jazz combo and the stage band? Because I don't really hear about those ever. Like what entails a stage band and what's a combo?
Okay. The stage band is the same thing as a big band. It's a sort of an older term used for big band, but it was used a lot in the 60s and 70s. Stage bands was fairly common back then. So it's the same thing as a normal band: 5 trumpets, 4 to 5 trumpets, 4 to 5 trombones, 5 saxes, full rhythm section. So, and we have 2 of those. So stage band and jazz ensemble are both the same makeup. We tend to have a few more in the second band and jazz ensemble, just because we're able to do that. Now, as far as the jazz combo, we've gone from anywhere from, say, 6 players to 10 players, and that is a drummer, bass player, guitar, piano, and then a variety of horns. Last year, I believe we had 9 or 10 players. So I think we had six or 7 horns, and we did arrangements that were written specifically for them. And we also did head charts as well and made up our own arrangements for these charts.
Okay. And then are these all the same auditions? Like there's one audition for all of
Yeah.
these, or are there separate auditions? Okay.
You'll let me know when you're there.
Okay.
You'll let me
Cool.
know
That
when
was
you're
my
there
next question.
what you'd like to.
Cool. That was exactly what the next question was. And then what if you wanted to apply for multiple instruments? So say if you were proficient in both, guitar and bass, could you apply for both those instruments?
I would bring both to the audition, and I'd have to hear both of them.
Okay. Would that be one audition slot or several of them?
I think one is fine. Yeah, the audition slots are I think 15 minutes, so that should be fine. If we need to stretch it, we can stretch it.
And then last one, for on the same line of questioning there, to audition for several different instruments, would that be would each of those instruments be given separate considerations, or is this just one consideration?
I think each instrument would be given separate consideration. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure. I know Brian is
that's a.
Sorry, I know Brian is a trumpet player. I just wanted to just shout out about the brass ensemble. If you're interested in trying out for that on trumpet or on a brass instrument, anybody here, it's the same audition slots. So you could just sign up for 2 different slots, one for brass ensemble, because it's going to be a more of a classical piece. And then if you're going to do jazz, you would sign up for a separate one for jazz.
Yeah. Also, I just saw Chima come in. Do you have any questions specifically? Do you want to hear us run through jazz stuff?
I was just in the concert band room, and I just decided to come in here because I signed up for concert band for a term, and then might switch to jazz, or sorry, for fall semester, and then might switch to jazz for spring semester. So I just wanted to see what we were all talking about.
Well, I would say, as far as seating, is it Chima?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. As far as seating, we don't re-audition necessarily at the second semester. All right. So, for example, our top ensembles, so the jazz combo and the jazz, and the stage band, those seats are for the year. Okay, so generally, if someone leaves halfway through the year, we're not going to see an open space in either of those bands. That said, if you wanted to audition and potentially be added to the jazz ensemble roster for the second half of the year, you can do that. But I think if you talk to any of the ensemble directors, we generally think of things for the year. You know what I mean? We plan for the year for music. You're gonna get to know the group better as the year goes on, and there's sort of an arc that we have with the type of music, with the difficulty of the music, and then the different styles. So I would consider signing up for a full year if you're doing that. But if your heart is set on doing one of each, then no one's keeping you from doing that.
Okay, great.
And we were talking about this a little bit ago about how if you want to do both, you're totally capable to do both concert band and jazz groups for the whole year. I think all of us on the officer board have, just because we all love music. I don't feel like you're pressured to do both, but if you want to, you can definitely do it.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question. Would you prefer us to have backing tracks for the audition pieces, or do you just want to hear us alone?
If you had one, we could certainly use it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? If you guys have any questions about WPI in general, we're all students here. If you have any questions right now as well, feel free to ask them.
You should have my email. Please feel free to email me at any time. We'll be around. We'll be at some of us will be at the session on Tuesday morning, the 23rd at 10 a.m. But you'll see these folks. They're Alden is where we hang, and these people are always in Alden. So you'll be able to catch somebody most of the time. As far as practice rooms, people do ask me a lot. What are the practice rooms there? There's a few dedicated practice rooms under the staircases, but really you just want to grab an empty room and start playing. I've seen two people in the same room practicing. It's not the best practice room situation where you have 20 rooms, okay? But when I went to Cuba, when I went to their music conservatory, there was 3 people practicing in a 10 by 10 room. So it can happen. So just find a room and don't let that make sure you're friends with the person that you're practicing with, or ask them anyways. Or bring a silent mute. So, all right. Well, thank you. We can always stick around for a second if anyone has an individual question they want to ask. But thank you. And thank you, Emily, again, for doing this. This was a great idea.
Yeah, I'm going to head back out. Yeah.
Come to the pizza party.
Yeah, free pizza. What more do you want? Yeah.
I will be gone in Switzerland until halfway through October, but I hope to see y'all around when I come back.
Tommy, we'll save a slice of pizza for you. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just put it in the freezer or something. I'll come back and grab it. Yeah. I'll take free food any opportunity.
Well, have fun if I don't see you, if we don't talk. Have a great time. Be safe. And how many horns are you bringing there?
Just my trumpet. I don't have a lot of. I know only one. I don't have a lot of liberties with my luggage, and I also don't want it to get stolen. Bringing like $10,000 worth of instruments on a plane across the country is not the best idea. I don't think.
If you bring your Sousa, you could just store all your clothes in it.
Oh my God, facts! I can fill that thing up. I should just do that. Yeah. I'm gonna go tell that to my mom. Be like, drop the suitcase, just the suitcase.
All right. Thank you. I guess we're good. Emily, are you going back to the main room, or are we good for this? Probably you got to wait, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the main room and check in on the orchestra room. Seems like it's got a bunch of people in it still.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
I have a quick question about WPI in general.
Yeah, throw it at us.
Go for it.
So I'm taking computer science and I don't really know like what laptop I should buy. Could I get a point in a right direction, please?
I can try to help you a tiny bit. So I'm also doing CS. And believe it or not, I have a MacBook, and I've actually been able to do everything on a MacBook laptop for all of my classes. So I'm pretty sure you can get away with literally any computer. Like the classes are kind of designed in a way where they're not too intensive on the computing stuff, or like there's no software you have to use that's like platform specific. And for the few things that are, like if you're working with like databases or something like that, like they have virtual machines that you go into from your laptop. So you shouldn't have to worry about that too much.
Okay, cool. And then when we're in the CS classes, we will be in computer labs, right?
There are computer labs available. I don't know. I guess my experience has been a little different because like my first year at WPI was during COVID. So a lot of classes have been kind of engineered around that. And now we're kind of, shifting things back to.
Okay, well he's gone. The computer labs, I wouldn't really rely on them. I'd say most computer science majors just have their own laptop, and most have a Windows machine. Personally, I went with a Lenovo device. I know they have the ThinkPads are great. I went with a Yoga because I like to write notes. You tend to work with a lot of PDF documents and things where it's helpful to be able to write something. So if you do get a laptop with a touchscreen that can use a stylus, it's been really helpful for me. In terms of specs, I would say 256 gigs minimum, definitely an SSD, 8 gigs of RAM minimum. You're not going to want to be waiting for things to load and stuff. Like you'll have IDEs, so you don't really want to be stalling because you're 2 gig RAM, 2004 Dell laptop is still booting up. So I would recommend anything from Lenovo, I think, but just definitely make sure you get a big enough SSD for all of your files and enough RAM to handle all your tasks. But you do get OneDrive. You get a terabyte of OneDrive storage. So if you're in the file explorer, you can just right click and click take it off my device. I've used that a lot when I have files and I'm I don't really need these anymore, but I don't want to delete them. So you can use OneDrive, but those are my recommendations.
Another thing for specs, WPI, if you look up computer requirements and put WPI Hub, they have a website page where they have a recommender quiz based on major and what you'll be doing on it. But then they also have minimum requirements that they recommend. So if you sort of want to remember also what Robbie had just mentioned about RAM or storage, WPI Hub, I think has a page that sort of details some of that. So that's useful.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Ema, do you have any questions? What's your major?
I'm going to be studying civil engineering. So
Yes! Oh my God, I'm a civil and I never see any other civil. I swear, we just got 30 new peppers here at band camp and there's one civil.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we're awesome, yeah.
Yeah, you have me now, so.
Yes! Awesome. That's great. Okay, I'm gonna go check in and see how that orchestra room's going. They still got
It's nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, it was great to meet.
Nice to meet you too.
See you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you too. I'll be leaving.
All right.
Work day.
I'm loving it already.
Learn the pains of it.
It's okay. Listen, everyone got registered for orchestra. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Hello, Emily and Jazz.
Hi. I just want to see how it was going in here. You guys are the only ones still going strong.
Oh, really?
Fantastic.
I'm not
just talking about
it's a good thing. Lots of questions.
We'll have to end this immediately.
Yeah. We played a guess what instrument we all play game. But
based on.
I was planning on joining the jazz room later, and now I'm seeing this is like the
Oh,
one room
perfect.
that's.
Look at that.
And there's like
Perfect.
one. Like there's like yeah, you're here. Yeah, so that's fine.
Did you have any like specific questions? We'll field them.
I guess it's just some general stuff. Like I guess I'm a double bassist, so I guess I would just first what time rehearsal are Mondays, right?
Depends on the group. We our top ensembles on Monday, but the other ones rehearse on Wednesdays.
I see.
Yeah. So
And
sadly,
then-
there is conflict between jazz and orchestra.
That's fine. And then I guess how much like I am a double bassist, but I like don't have much experience with jazz, and I've been a casual player for a while. Is that going to be an issue? Or is there any way to like any opportunities to practice more and improve my skills? Or
Yeah, so this year we're starting a jam session, which is literally specifically for that, just so new students that are new to jazz can practice their skills and prepare for maybe an audition for our group next year. That will be on Monday nights at 7 to 8.
all right, thanks.
Wait, I have a question. Would I, as a viola violin player, be allowed to join jazz jam sessions, or is that
Yeah.
not allowed?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm coming, bro.
I want to come too.
Dude, I'm gonna
They
be so
really
bad.
want the viola players.
I'm so bad at improv.
You're gonna get a
Oh, yeah.
horde of viola players who show up.
Only viola player. The
whole
whole section's coming. Megan's coming too. So
This Professor Sento like arranges a whole like assignment where we all show up at a jazz jam session to broaden our musical horizons or something like
Yeah.
that.
yes.
Concerto for 10 violas. All right, we'll make it
Yes.
happen.
Dude, viola ensemble's coming.
I'm ready. The viola just for that.
We should have
Dude.
viola choir. Honestly, it's a great idea.
With like this
That
are
one,
like
yeah.
what seven person section, 6 person.
Perfect.
Our sub ensembles,
Wonderful.
chamber groups. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we also this wasn't on the slide, but usually if we have enough interest, we'll do like a little chamber orchestra and like small like quartets, quintets as well. That's more kind of like people will kind of form groups and do stuff. So if you're interested in that, there's definitely opportunities.
Definitely very casual. We do play some hard stuff, but it's up to like the group on what they want to play. So
Yeah,
nice
like we
and
kind
fun.
of yeah, like we schedule around everyone, like time and stuff like that. Cool. Do we have any question? We have a lot of people here, so you can ask questions. We got everything covered, probably.
See, I also just filed in from the jazz room, so I have a more jazz-related question. Sorry to, take over the orchestra room.
No problem.
So Emily and you guys, when's the last time you saw a clarinet in one of the jazz groups?
Oh, we've got clarinet right
Yeah,
now.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, since we're going to New Orleans, like that's the perfect. This is the time to do jazz clarinet.
That's
Great.
awesome.
So I have
Are
like
clarinets
a
not
little.
like a common thing in jazz band or something?
No, normal orchestration just calls for saxophones, trombones, trumpets, and then the rhythm section. They kind of leave the
see.
clarinets and stuff out.
Ah,
It's because I was debating whether or not I wanted to like in the next week find a piece and prepare and be like, all right, we're gonna audition or just do the jam session. But like I don't even know where to start looking for a piece to prepare. But
Look up New Orleans jazz. There's plenty of transcribed solos from who's the clarinetist?
Goodman?
Yeah, Goodman. That's where you start.
Sure. Sounds good. All right, thank you.
Nice. Yeah, that's very cool. I think we're looking at a trip to Portugal. I think it's at the same. Are you guys going a CD term? Is that like the break?
We're currently like
Or-
stuck between doing it right after D term or spring break. We're meeting
Gotcha.
next week to
Yeah.
choose the exact time.
Gotcha. Very cool. I think we're going CD term break.
Yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah, March. Yeah, it must be C. It's CD term break after C
Gotcha.
term before. Yeah, yeah.
I think one of the cooler things I'm noticing like right now about college I guess this was, I guess, like a gradual sort of transition, I guess, from elementary school all the way up to high school and college. This pattern has been going on, but it's interesting to see like a lot more student involvement with these kind of like big important things. So it's really fascinating.
I think WPI does a really good job. I think I can't even think of a single organization on campus that doesn't have at least some student involvement in it.
Absolutely. Like even like pretty much every professional office has student workers, and they're not just like manual labor. Like they actually go to meetings and have input on what they do, which is cool to see. I mean, you are paying for it, so you might as well have some
As well
power.
get paid in return.
Exactly.
Oh, something I wanted to add about Symphonic Association. Sorry to go off the tangent from the jazz conversations. So this might get a little confusing when you come to rehearsal. If you see like acronyms like WPA, PA, don't worry about that. We will explain all of that come first rehearsal. We're in the process of doing a separation into two organizations, but right now we are just the WPI Symphonic Association, and we still cover all three ensembles, but that's a transition that we'll be talking more about in the coming term. So don't worry if you see like Wind Band Association, Philharmonic Association. If you're an orchestra, you're an orchestra. If you're contraband, this does not affect your involvement. But again, we will all clarify that more the first rehearsal and in the coming term.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And we're going to be hosting a lot of events outside of rehearsals too. Some more social events. So that's going to be lots of fun this year. So
yeah. We're planning on doing study hours so you can get to know us more and just have a space to do work or just meet people outside your sections. And we're really here for you at the end of the day. The whole reason behind our separation is like to amplify student voice and for all of you just to have fun and enjoy the ensembles. So yeah.
No, I actually only talk to viola players, so it's not gonna happen. Yeah. Do you guys have any question? Like any more questions? You can be like general college questions. They don't have to be like music questions too.
For like upperclassmen, like how was it performing during COVID?
It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so concert band did I'm a rising junior this year, so when I was entering, it was sort of like the first school year back, like full school year. I'm not sure exactly what orchestra did, but I know concert band, we performed outside as long as we could. So we did all rehearsals out on Higgins Lawn, which you'll see when you get here. It's a big lawn. We set up there probably well into October, so it started to get chilly towards the end, but we persevered. And jazz, we did mostly online rehearsals. And then towards the end of the year, when things started to open back up, we had a nice Jazz on the Lawn concert on Higgins Lawn. That was really great. It was sort of our first in-person performance back together again, and that was really great. We've actually continued doing that. So we had another Jazz on the Lawn at the end of last year. And I'm not sure if we discussed it this year, but I think the plan is to do it again. So we definitely persevered through it and did as much as we could with what we had.
Yeah. Also, if you want to look into that more, on the jazz YouTube page, we have a concert series called Asynchronous Suite, and where all of our instrumentalists recorded separately, and then Robbie here put them all together, so it's like a concert, but everybody recorded separately. Yeah.
Similarly, on the concert band side, we have a same thing. It was a virtual concert, and it's called Apart. So I think it's on the Symphonic Association YouTube channel. So if you look up, we have a whole program of music that we put together the same way. Recorded everyone individually, and then Robbie right here. And
yes, Robbie.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, for orchestra, this is kind of comical. Like, so we were allowed to rehearse. I'm a string player. I'm a viola player. So basically, I didn't have a stand partner. We did like the 6 feet thing. So it's like one stand, and then 6 feet behind you, another stand person. But we weren't
Imagine
allowed
being
to
used to
rehearse.
stand partners.
It was crazy. Yeah, and we weren't allowed to have winds and brass like inside. So we would sit next to the door, and then we would have so we had like our French horns, like we had a soloist. So she sat at the door, like with the door open, and her horn was facing outside. So she wasn't playing inside, but she was still playing with the orchestra who was inside the building. It was a funny sight, but it was a fun time. I wouldn't go back though. We're back to like 100% like, kind of like regular rehearsals now. We've just followed the WPI guidelines, which I know have now recently kind of laxed up even more. So
I remember my junior year, so 2021 school year. It was pretty much my orchestra teacher. He had like he managed to get like all this fancy equipment. He was pretty much a Twitch streamer, except like 40, 50 years old and like playing and an orchestra teacher. And
dude, I would watch that Twitch stream, bro.
everyone's like, hey, you should he's like, everyone, you should be a Twitch streamer. And so like during rehearsal, it was mostly like we had our cameras off and we were like, and then we would just practice and try to play along while he was playing. And then we'd have like dedicated time to like practice on our own. And I think to a lot of our surprise, a lot of people, including myself, not to brag, actually used that time. So when we came in, there was like this piece that he gave all four orchestras. We played that and I was like, wow, everyone actually played this.
Yeah,
Also-
right now, like I was just gonna comment that at this point we're out of the COVID jail here at WPI for band camp this week. We've been having all 100 of us in Alden Hall, stand partners and everything.
Love that.
I do have here's a much more general question. I have a list of stuff to bring with me to my dorm. Do you guys want to look over it, see any suggestions, see if I'm forgetting anything?
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Unless if anyone has music related questions, we can do those first. Otherwise, we
sure.
can I'm down.
That's one big general question.
This is a fun fact. I lived in the same room that you will live in. So Founders 310.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what specific room inside?
Is it C or D? Or
I think it's C.
Oh, I was another one. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's like the same thing. They're just
Yeah.
mirrored.
I'll literally be in that room anyway, so
That's awesome.
Visiting.
D's better than D.
Okay. In that case, anyone are we down to
Well, actually, you said you weren't gonna bring your. I mean, that's fair. You can't really fit the bass in Founders. If you have other instruments, you can bring those too. I don't know.
Yep. I don't. It's just me and the bass. But yeah.
For all you that have instruments that you're bringing, we do have storage inside Alden Hall.
Yeah,
they're card access, so they're lockable. So we'll be able to show you that during our first rehearsal.
Oh yeah, I guess another issue with bringing my bass. It's technically a rental from a local violin shop, so it'd be kind of weird. Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
We'll probably have to like return it. Actually, I have to pack it up. It's sad.
Oh no.
Poor bass. Yeah.
Also, do people often like play in their dorms, or is it usually just in like practice rooms for like noise concerns and things?
Usually it's only in practice rooms. I played in my dorm. I didn't join orchestra until C term. So from like A term to C term, I was playing in my dorm. And then I stopped when I knew that there were practice rooms. So like short answer is no, people practice in practice rooms, but long answer is like no one's gonna stop you. My neighbors were really nice, so they really didn't care.
Yeah, I think it depends what instrument you play.
Technically, they don't. I think
technically you're
you're
not supposed to
practice.
But like whatever. It's like one of those RA rules. Like there's a lot of rules in dorm.
Yeah. Normally there'll always be a practice room open in Alden. So you can always just stop by and practice there.
Okay.
Last year, my mom convinced me to bring like a little little portable keyboard thing. I was like, there'll be pianos there. She's like, you should just bring it just in case. I'm like, fine. I did actually use it a few times because, you know, it's like a volume adjuster. But one time in the dorm, I pulled out my clarinet. I didn't do anything with clarinet last year, but I just had it with me. That was a lot more audible to other people on the floor. But they were all, you know, friendly and whatever. They're like, whoa, what is that? I'm like, oh, you know, I just whipped out the clarinet.
Do wind instruments and other types of band instruments have like the equivalent of a mute on stringed instruments?
It's a little, it's not like the same, like it doesn't dampen the sound that much. It just changes like color, I think. Like I don't know if you can buy a practice mute.
Yeah, there's practice mutes for the brass instruments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go to practice room though. Like I had a friend who had this guy that lived above him that played the trumpet, and he would practice at like, you know, into the night, and that was not great, but
During the COVID times, Robbie and I were actually roommates and we were in a triple. So we sort of had our rehearsals on Zoom in our dorm rooms. So like we were playing our instruments and our third roommate was not in band. Luckily he put up with it. But imagine a trumpet and a saxophone doing concert band rehearsal, but you're in a dorm. That was fun. He was good about it though.
All right. If there are no other questions, you want to see the dorm list?
Share away.
let's do
If we
it.
feel inclined to stay any later, I don't think there's anybody else like popping